Hey, good evening. This is Jupiter Exile. I am full of food after some time out, but I had a couple of free hours, literally a couple of free hours. So, we're back at Bloodborne. I want to keep trying to knife this boss. So I'm gonna take a quick farm rotation, and then we're gonna get back to this and see if we can put some dents in her. Back up to Murgo's loft, gonna kill some pigs, and then we'll be back on for more boss attempts. Need to pay attention to the one with the fire. And there he goes. Thank you for those. And a couple of these. Those are bullets. I would rather have more healing vials. Sometimes it's nice when that guy gets backstep happy, because it means he's not spending time, attacking. That could be bad for my health. Quickly take out a couple of pigs for some blood vials. Then we can get back to fighting the boss. Oh. It didn't trigger the visceral. Hey, Sully. No, I wasn't out Christmas shopping in particular. I was having a nice dinner with some friends. Just treating them to a good time as my Christmas gift to a few of them. Not everybody I wanted to bring along was able to make it, unfortunately. No, they got me. I did some Christmas shopping online earlier. So I think, in terms of my list, I've only got 2 more people to shop for, give or take. It was just a kind of a general purpose eatery, what they call it. I had planned to go to Sweetwater Tavern, which is like steaks and beer and all that good stuff. But they were too booked for the party size I had. So we went to like a partner restaurant with them, which is Good Eats Eatery, I think it was, something like that. So they had some variety options between like steaks, seafood, and Tex-Mex. I had some very nice brisket. And so I am full of brisket as we speak. No, thank you. Alright, that was a little testy. But this and one more pig will be good to go. You will fund my boss fight habit. Yeah, this was pretty much a trip with my D&D buddies. It was nice. We talked about a lot of games, things like that. Alright, quick shopping trip, and I'll be back to fighting the boss. I think that, given the amount of time I've spent on the boss, I'm oddly close. So as long as I can get in that groove, I think I might be able to deliver a win. It's nicely regular in the way her timings work. I didn't really need to buy or sell anything else. So, load me up. Okay, let's get back to fighting. I've been spending a lot of today and yesterday watching another streamer play through Outer Wilds. It was very fun. I do love that game quite a lot. Although it was naturally frustrating at times when he didn't have things figured out. Now, I was just watching a recording. I wouldn't backseat him if he was playing real time, but I had to deal with however long it took in the recording. Being said, I could fast forward until he figured things out, which was nice. Oh, second swipe caught me there. Yeah, the streamer in question was Jorbs. I don't recall if that's his full name as a streamer, or if it's like Joel Norbs or something like that. His biggest game is Slay the Spire. He's also done a lot of content with XCOM 2. Over the month of October, he was just playing a gigantic smattering of like puzzle and strategy games. Oh, needed to roll that one. I'm only going to get myself one healing vial unless I'm able to get a lot more work done. I thought my first dodge there might have been too early, so I threw in a second. That was unnecessary. I don't usually want to get her in a corner like that, but if I do, I'm going to throw in a good number of attacks. Okay, this is turning into a very expensive run. And I'm dead. Spent 5 blood vials just to die ignobly. Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower. You know, I've been thinking, since I'm generally playing without too much game audio, I might need to get in some like DRM-free background noise. I'm not sure what to kind of stitch in there. I'm not great at picking out music and that kind of thing, and I don't know what's actually streamer friendly but also actually good. I may have to try and put together a list, or perhaps find somebody who's already built one. When in doubt, find somebody who's already done it. No, thank you. Nope, that'll kill. Just having a little bit of time getting the rhythm going. Yeah, DMCA is tough. Yeah, you can't get in a lot of hits on this boss at once, so you have to get the right rhythm and stick with it for quite a while. Yeah, DMCA and copyright is very strange. What's it called? I'm following one DMCA issue on YouTube for a content creator. Oh, my dodge didn't put me in the right spot. For a content creator by the name of Totally Not Mark, who does a lot of anime reviewing type of stuff. And I enjoy him a lot because he's got a lot of energy and he has good takes. He can recognize quality. So he's been reviewing a lot of classics. But his foundation, his original works, the first few things he's done are in Dragon Ball, and he's done a lot of content more recently regarding One Piece. And Toei Animation, the owner of those properties, came out of the woodwork and had 150 of his videos removed from YouTube. And he's like at the level of content creation um, where like multiple people are getting a paycheck off of his channel. So that's a ridiculous level of revenue disruption. Yeah, she can only shoot so far. Ow. Let's fully heal. We can afford to, roughly. My cadence for hurting her is... okay. It's a bit slower because it took her a while to do this. And then I got killed immediately. Oh boy. Ouch. Did he have like some background music going for it, or like some other clips going? I'd guess it'd have to be on the background music. Yeah. Intro music. Yeah, yeah. Now, I've noticed on the YouTube policy, if you get that kind of strike, you can just blank the music out and get your video back in. Oh yeah, you can't just take anime intro music. Okay, I can't contest without dodging. A lot of blood vials to use. Gotta move out of that because this burst does damage. Come on, I don't believe how like short I'm falling on some of these hits. It is really weird. This was working earlier today with the same movement patterns, I swear. She's favoring an attack. It seems to be hitting me a lot on my dodge right setup, and she's not using the attack that was killing me in the other setup. And they happen fast enough that it's really difficult to recognize them on the fly. Oh, that's a big old block. I'll check that in a sec. Oh, she kept tracking on me for that. Oh, wow. Huh. Yeah, after playing very little Survivor, it's very easy to be matched up with frustrating people on your team. Oh, I walked into that. That's fine. We'll just wash that one out. Yeah, naturally. Yeah, the hatch is a little toxic. Like, just in general, the premise of the hatch. It's good that they've reworked it. It's supposed to be like a last-ditch thing, not something you can plan around. When you can plan around it, it creates a weird incentive. I mean, sometimes playing killer, I've tried to realize that and like switch targets if I find that somebody's just doing nothing but stealthing around. Oh wow, I made the same mistake again. Ouch. Okay, time to give her some space. Here's the phase 2. Please stop dodging. Oh my goodness. She literally just kept in that dodge loop until I screwed up. Yeah, I think if she does that again, I probably just need to shoot her, um, and see if I can get a critical off to like reset the flow. Because if she keeps doing that and I'm not getting any damage, that really sucks. This is better so far. Didn't think she would let me do that. Dang it, again. I'm just having a difficult time getting into the phase 2 flow. So long as I only spend 1 or 2 blood vials in phase 1, I'm fine with drilling this for a bit to remember. Also, I really love the boss fight music here. It's got that lovely, like, melancholy epic thing going. She hasn't gotten me with that hitbox before. Ouch. Yeah, I thought she might get me with that. That's a difficult one to dodge. Yeah, I think Lady Maria is overall a lot easier to deal with than Ludwig. She doesn't have as many like specific things she does. She doesn't inflict as much damage, but it's a very fast fight. Like it's a very high speed, persistent fight, and her later phases are tricky. But her later phases are not as much of a change up. This is part of why I wanted to sit down to another session against her tonight, because I think that my barrier to beating her is a lot lower than it was for Ludwig. Like, Ludwig was several play sessions, some like studying online. I don't think Maria is going to give me as much trouble. I gotta give her space in this transition. That burst can kill me. I want to walk her a bit more out of the end of the room. That's about the range she has in this phase. It's nutty. I'm gonna back up and heal from that. That barely didn't get me. Very tricky. That was the pierce. Shoot. I wasn't too far away from phase 3 there. I'm not sure if the phase 3 is starting at 30% or at 25%. I think it might be 25%. Or even less. She goes into phase 3 at very low HP. But yeah, the key to the fight is basically, can we dodge these like super attacks that she starts doing in phase 2? And if we can dodge those very well, we can push her, we can get her health down pretty quick, I think. But yeah, this fight is basically all about dodge timing. Ah! I didn't think she would go into the gun after that Simo. Rather, I didn't think she could go into the gun at point blank immediately like that without coming out of a combo. I thought that might be a ranged only behavior. But I think she's done it in close quarters before as well. I usually sidestep it because I'm not trying to just hammer through. There are times in this boss where you can just hammer through, and it's going to teach me bad habits. Missed my dodge. Yeah. She has armor during that attack, so attacking her while she's in that stance is meaningless. I need to wait for her to complete the attack before I go in. Or I need to take another dodge. I had the time for another dodge there. Well, sort of. I think I had buffered in the slash. And from the time I buffered in the slash, I was dead. Input buffer can be ruthless. No. Ow. I hadn't been hit by that before. So that's new. But yeah, I dodged into completely the wrong position. Sometimes, for a fight like this, I'm just going to get wrapped up in cadence and stop thinking, and that's a bad thing. Yeah, I want most of my step-ins against the trick weapon version to be stepping in when she is starting in with an overhead slash or something like that. Am I getting an echo of anything I'm doing, by the way? I recognize the... Oh, whoops. I've got a problem with the audio setup that I couldn't fix. Okay, now I'm distracted. I'm getting shot to death. Stop shooting me. Alright, let me fix this audio thing so it stops distracting me. I have an echo playing right now. There, that'll resolve it. Yeah, it's maybe not being picked up by the stream, but it's an echo that was playing like in the room, because I was getting the game audio coming out of the computer. It's a very inopportune time for her to just decide to bullet combo me out of existence. But she can do that during the trick weapon phase if you try too hard to stay far away from her. Wow, I'm being done dirty here. There we go. Oh my goodness. Some of these attacks clipping me, like barely tagging me. It's definitely a fight by inches. I suppose not in the sense of how we're performing in the fight, but in terms of how the fight is actually arbitrated. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I got a follow in exchange from the gal I raided earlier. It's nice. I hope her run went well. Wow, I really just can't hit with a charge attack. Okay. I walked into that. That's on me. Yeah, I'd been working at Ludwig for so long that it almost felt anticlimactic when I beat him. Especially because the run where I beat him, everything went so well, it was surprising. At least for the second phase. I think my first phase clear for that fight was a bit sloppy. I cannot try to force it for more than one attack. If we trade on one attack, I need to leave. Because the next attack after that will likely be a trade. I shouldn't be planning to take trades on any attacks, but if I chase them down while they're in, like, the ghostly dodge, I can't actually promise better than a trade when I chase them down there. I still need to try going for gun parries, like mid-combo and things like that. Because it's not as though their movements are unpredictable. The reason that gunshot missed is actually because I was too close and because I was attacking. Attacking causes your character to crouch slightly. And she actually shot over me because I was in the middle of a swing. I accidentally do that sometimes if she does a double dodge into that attack. Okay, my dodge didn't put me behind her. Hey there. It's been a little worse than it was earlier today. I've been having a really difficult time getting the same results. Just like not finding the groove. I'm finding her swords in me a lot. Yeah, I figured, what's it called? I was able to boot this up at about 9:50, so I figure I have a good, at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours. 2 hours might be pushing it. I do need to hit the road tomorrow. Decided to stop dodging for a bit there. It did the thing again where it like put me right in front of her on a dodge. Oh, I did the thing again there where I dodge in on exactly the wrong attack. I should know that that's generally a 3-hit combo that ends with the power slash. And if I run in to take the power slash on the noggin, I'm gonna die. I also can't run in and start an attack there, because she'll just finish the attack. And we're already low on blood vials again. So we've already burned through almost 60 of them. I suppose we've spent about 40, 45 so far. With regards to the big slash, if my first dodge is early enough, I have time for a second dodge in there. It's nice. There I had to save myself by attacking because the dodge was not to the side. Please, thank you. This is the part where we spend a lot of blood vials because their attacks get pretty random in terms of where they cover. Down to only 10. This is not great for the flow that I've been going with. Yeah, as I was saying earlier today, I think I need to be transitioning to unlocked when she's doing the big attacks, so that my dodges last longer. Which is mechanically super weird. But unlocking only when she's doing those big charges is going to be really tough. Ah. happened again. Yeah, some of the hitboxes, they are consistent hitboxes, but they feel inconsistent, which is tricky. There's a very big tendency for her to hit me like on the attack startup when I'm behind her, because she's got some of these attacks that have hitboxes that start behind her, or they end behind her, and that's really thrown me for a loop. I'm going to do one more attempt with very, very few blood vials before I do another farming loop. Having to go back and farm after only 40 minutes of attempts is really rough. But this boss has a lot of things that are in that state of, like, not quite killing. So I often find myself needing to spend a lot of blood vials to keep fighting and keep learning. A lot of unfortunate things in that sequence earlier. Yeah. Since I took a running slash, I was still locked in the animation. The animation for the running slash locks you down longer. I was trying to input the dodge, but I couldn't get it off. Alright, I need to do a farm loop, then I can get back to this. It's a very interesting, pretty fun boss. There were times where I thought I might be able to get in charge slashes or things like that, but almost every time I try, she dodges out. I have hit her with a couple fully charged R2s, but I can't get them to line up with her back. So I can't seem to pull off anything truly fancy for this boss fight. I might be able to get counters with the gunshot, but I haven't been testing that too much because I'm not in the mood to take her attacks on in the face. And if I miss that window, I'm going to be in a hurt locker. But if I can get gun counters in phase 2, I think that would mean pretty clearly that I could get gun counters in phase 3 as well. That is the thankful thing about this boss, or the nice thing. She carries over a lot of her behaviors from phase to phase, unlike Ludwig, who's two entirely different bosses duct taped together. It's very bad that my attacks went askew. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I need to repair my weapon. I think I'm farming. Let's see. So for Wednesday, I'm definitely doing Ruined King. I could stream a little 7 Days to Die after our get-together on Thursday. We could also play it for Friday. I think that's going to be my preferred game for Fridays for a while. It's not the recent content for for Dead by Daylight has necessarily like crossed the line. I don't think anything they've been doing is particularly worse. It's just kind of getting on the steady accumulation of not really having a great time of it. Plus, I'm really thinking that I may be able to grow the stream better and play more content that I'm like closer to enjoying, doing like Dark Souls challenge runs and the like. If I find that that doesn't grow the channel terribly much, then I'll reevaluate. But Dead by Daylight's a very crowded game right now. Oh, well, didn't want to get killed by that. That's rough. So long as I can kill the shades and get my souls back, kill one more pig, this will be good. The punch 'em up build on 7 Days to Die has been quite fun. Okay, there go 30,000 souls, because I didn't line up that attack correctly. 30,000 blood echoes. Man, I love Bloodborne. Such great mechanics. I'm not upset about being hit by that attack. I'm upset about needing to restock my blood vials every hour. It's tedious. I used too much stamina, so I couldn't dodge away when I needed to in that case. It's harder to deal with this pack when the Fire Breather decides it's also his job to make melee attacks. They're way more threatening than his Fire Breath. Did Back 4 Blood get panned or anything? I kind of assumed it was more of the same. Yeah, I do think the awkward thing about Back 4 Blood is that I don't expect it to be as good as Vermintide 2. Oh, wow. Yeah, I suppose when you get down to it, at the time of release, I don't think Left 4 Dead had that much at the time when it first came out either. I think it was just kind of forgiven for that because it was newer and more novel back then. They didn't really have a lot until they got going with Left 4 Dead 2, added like the melee weapons, the extra maps and modes, things like that. Charge me again. There we go. Sort of. This is very awkward. If you could just die. Oh my goodness. Okay, that was obnoxious. Okay, one more of these guys to take out to get a decent number of blood vials. And every one of these I take out is like another, like, 20-something blood vials. So we really do want to knock down all three. There we go. I should take back the blood off my wish list then. I wish listed it when I was going through things, so I wanted to like have the wish list bit ready for the holidays. Just knock it right back off there. Still got a lot of very neat atmospheric looking stuff that that I'll probably be using for Wednesday streams. I think my primary candidacy, it's hard to like clamp down on what is meant by, you know, an exploration-oriented game, which is what I want that theming to loosely be. But I'm really just looking for games that are aesthetically very polished, so that I can just groove. Balance, lack of content. Yeah, I am guessing they're going to patch it pretty aggressively. Who knows how long that'll take. It's very it's so exhaustingly common in the gaming industry right now for everything to come in through patches and not be good on release. Like most games, I just look at and I don't care about it until it's already been out for 6 months. Unless it's like a really known, trusted studio, or it's got really good reviews. Like Riot's been knocking it out of the park lately. I trust FromSoft to ship a good game, as they appear to care about polish a good bit. So I'm expecting Elden Ring to be pretty good on ship. Let's see, are you gonna behave? Not really. I got tangled on her leg for a moment, and so that attack hit me. Sable. Huh. What sort of genre? Is that just mostly about running around? RPG, platformer? The name is vaguely familiar. Now, I know that Chucklefish put out something else on the Switch that was looking kind of good. Looked like it was kind of maybe an adventure RPG. Lots of walking around talking to goofy NPCs. Dodge is too early. She really had me guessing there for a moment. Ooh, I was outside of her gun range. Yeah, after the roll, she'll always fire the gun. my options to hit her between combos are actually pretty handy in this first phase. And we need to leave when she does this because blam. Okay, and we'll give her a bit more time to move to mid stage, center stage. Can't go getting hit by these attacks. They survived that on a back dodge. I can get a lot of these on back dodge even with fairly rough timing because the attacks don't have a lot of uptime. Okay, I can see the problem with unlocking. I'm very easily going to wind up looking at the wrong area. The core problem with my handling of this phase is a lot of bad dodges wind up costing me extra blood vials. And the dodging of some of these attacks is just tricky. Like that attack, I have no idea where it actually starts and stops in terms of its actual positioning. I'm just dodging through it on timing. And I'm relying on dodging through it on timing as well. That earlier one where I tried to step around her, I honestly feel it should have missed. Okay, that was my fault for standing there. Standing in front of her is very dangerous. Oh, Breath of the Wild without combat. That's interesting. Huh. I appreciate that Breath of the Wild was an influential game to get people to remember that, like, running around an interactive environment is kind of inherently fun if there's just a modicum of things to do in that environment. I think a lot of the fun in Breath of the Wild is that there are these nifty physics interactions, and, like, thank goodness for that, because there's only so much content actually in Breath of the Wild, and if not for some of the novel things you can do, I think that game would have almost no playtime. So when you really break it down, Breath of the Wild survives by being gimmicky. I think some of the other games that try to mimic the exploration success of Breath of the Wild fall on their face because they don't have enough gimmicks. And I think that's actually the problem with, like, Phantasy Star Online New Genesis for me, or at least part of it. That game is absolutely built to be Breath of the Phantasy Star, and it succeeds in being that, but it doesn't make that necessarily the kind of thing I want to spend a ton of time doing. And I think that was a failure of understanding, like, the core draw of Phantasy Star Online 2. And the draw for that game, if you were drawn to it, is absolutely mechanical complexity. But PS2 NGS has, like, none of that. It's almost purely an action game. There's almost no actual mechanical depth. I felt the action game components are very good. They had some pretty successful, interesting enemy design. Their enemies were fun to fight. Yeah, some puzzles would have gone a long way in that. Or, like, maybe more bits and bobs to find on the map. If you have an open world and a given section of the map has, like, 2 checkpoint things to find, you're not getting very far on that. It's like Breath of the Wild, you've got the shrines, but then also the Koroks, but then also you can find weapons and rubies and other things. And there's all of the, like, consumable items that can be valuable. Of course, in Breath of the Wild, most of those things are reinforced through the combat loop. And if you don't have a combat loop in your game, you're going to have to be a bit more creative about how you're rewarding the player. If she's in this trick stance and you happen to need to heal or you get shot or something like that, it can be an absolute nightmare. Because sometimes she can decide that she just wants to fire several shots. Probably experiment a bit with countering her for something in these attack strings. There's one. I took like one attack too many, and it locked me in an animation too long to do what I needed to do, which was dodge. Okay, we'll just let her transition from this far out. See, I played the first one to completion. Arkham City was actually like, I started it up, and then I'm like, this is too big and too much. And that was, I would say, perhaps the beginning of me recognizing how many of those games are just these big, obnoxious checkboxes. And there's some of those games that are like, it's open world, we've got all sorts of stuff to do, but the actual activities you do are maybe like just 5 things that you do over and over again in a loop in slightly different places with slightly different enemies. But there's not really like, you don't have to actually adjust or play any differently. I'll have to wait until I am dead to read Lag Strike's post. Okay, well, that was a thing. Yeah, I think the rich narrative does really matter. But I think what's more important than that for me is it has to be an exploration-driven narrative. Oh, hey, Shio. Thanks for the good luck. Yeah. Yeah, she's been tearing me up. I've gotten her to phase 3 a couple of times. Just twice, though, so far. I think. I think it was only twice. It might have been 3 times. Whoop. Yeah. Oh. She just went for it there. Ah. That was a nervous back dodge bit. I quite enjoyed Arkham 1 because Arkham 1 felt more like it was about like levels and figuring out how to beat enemies. Um, when I only played Arkham City for like an hour, but Arkham City felt like it was just reduced to being the brawler. Because if you didn't want to do a particular encounter or anything like that, you could just leave. The stealth aspect of taking down people felt like it was diminished. Whoa. Okay, I got lucky there that she was picking the attack that I can actually interrupt. Ah, that's bad. Okay, let's reset a little and go again. A little annoyed that I wasn't able to just strafe that. Tried to strafe it again. Can't strafe that one. So that one, I dodged out of it too early for sure. But also, it hit me in a really weird spot. Ah, that was me. That was too early. Way too early. I don't think this boss has more health than Ludwig. I'd have to check the wiki to know for sure. But I think it's just that my damage on her has to go slower. Ludwig has these big chunky opportunities where you break a limb and you get a lot of extra blows in. I definitely agree in terms of Prey, and maybe in terms of Bioshock. I mean, Bioshock is certainly dated in terms of its design, but there's an explorational quality to it. I'd say the more recent Prey game, much more so. I mean, the recent Prey title is you can even like jank out the terrain and do all sorts of stuff, and the amount of that game you actually complete is fairly optional. There's a lot of locations you can just avoid. Oh, that was careless of me. I was going to try to weave an attack in halfway through, but I didn't, like, think. I'm just hitting buttons. Just gonna hit some buttons. It's a little early for her to be in trick mode, I think. Whoop. It's probably a really good option for me to get a gun counter on her when she's doing that particular sequence. Oh good, I got a hit. Okay, so that setup gives her armor. That was a weapon transform. Yet another reason we don't want to directly contest the boss. She has a lot of attacks that beat us out in direct contest. Okay, so that was really weird. So I definitely dodged in with the right timing. Then I didn't die, and then I like dodged through part of an attack, but got killed by the end part of it. I feel like a stealth-oriented game is much more exploration-oriented, generally speaking, than a game that doesn't feature stealth. Like if you have the exact same level layout, the exact same enemies, but one game has a stealth feature, I think the game with stealth in it is more exploration rewarding. Because like you can think about the Metro games, especially the first one, because that's where I have all my experience of like actually playing it. If you don't know how to execute stealth, or if you don't try to execute stealth, I would say that game is not really an exploration game. But you can absolutely have play that game as an exploration game if you're conserving ammo and determining like what you can get away with. Yeah, I would definitely have to sit down and play through enough of non-Ranger Hardcore to remember the controls. But I could do Ranger Hardcore on like a hard mode Monday. I'm trying to think of how far I've made it in the game before on Ranger Hardcore. I know I've gotten through the first... I have not gotten to the point where it starts having those enemies that you need to stare at. Oh, whoops. What do I get for talking? Bleh. Yeah. I think Ranger Hardcore good ending on the first Metro would be a really solid, like, hard mode exploration type of game to do. And I just appreciated the game a heck of a lot. I think once you understand how many of the Nasalis you can walk past, the game takes on such this great feel. And playing on Ranger Hardcore is what will actually get you to do that. Because the Nasalis is not just a mindless enemy, it's an animal. And it has animal wants and animal needs. And that doesn't mean that it's going to go after you mindlessly all the time. I do not want to fight her on or near the staircase. She can kind of jank into it, and it does very weird things to her attack timings if she gets stuck on that. Okay, that's a good note. If she does that attack and I dodge back, I will get a pretty easy gun counter. Ouch. I find that if she's in that dodging mood, she really likes to just dodge and do gun attacks for a bit. That was premature of a dodge for me, but that's okay. Yeah, the thing I've been disliking about this fight is some of the behaviors that I'm training myself into on Phase 1 of, like, dodging through are not necessarily functioning when she gets her Phase 2 hitboxes. And that's a lot to do with me not studying the fight and just kind of throwing myself at it to see what I can figure out. Yeah, I really like the I think the thing about Ranger Hardcore for me is I like the balance of the ammunition you get and all the other things. I just kind of want the UI back. I don't even need the reticle. I just need to be able to like see references for my inputs and things like that. Like the last time I was playing Ranger Hardcore, I was having a hard time figuring out the grenade button. Okay, a lot of weird things happened there. Yeah, I played plenty of Skyrim. Yeah, I've gotten this guy down to, like, as little as 30%. I mean, I think everybody who could ever be convinced to play Skyrim has already played it at this point. I've been selling that game for at least 10 years. And even now, they have only recently put out another big patch to it. Like a third version of the same game. Name 5 Bethesda games. Skyrim. That's my fault. I set the bar too low. It's fun for a bit. But then you figured out the basic loop and everything's just a big repetitive mess. Right, she'll shoot from a roll. I wanted to see if I could shoot her on that. Oh, I couldn't take her out of that. Noted. Well, you can just name Skyrim. They've made Skyrim at least 5 times. Oh, that's good. I was wondering if the Anniversary Edition was actually going to throw off some things or not. Like, even with a really good mod pack, I don't think I could ever justify going into Skyrim. Like, going back into Skyrim again, rather. Because I've, like, tried some modded Skyrim as recently as this year. Shot on my part, and it was not a good one. So if I'm going in for just the visceral, I'm only going to do 400. I could theoretically do more if I was going for something else. I almost buffered in the absolute incorrect thing there. If buffering an attack out of that dodge for me was a big mistake. I got nervous and fired a gunshot. It's not the wrong thing to do. Ah, I hate that that hit me. Okay. Ah! The last gunshot there, the second to last gunshot that hit me, I deserved. The last gunshot that hit me, I was being stupid. Ah, jeez. Yeah, sometimes these gun-happy loops are just obnoxious a little bit. But no, the pivoting attack where she was in the attack sequence and she happened to clip me with one of those attacks just as I got into her, I really don't enjoy that. That's a case where, like, the boss is moving around quite a bit while she's doing her various things. And so I can absolutely get caught up in the outer extremities of those hitboxes sometimes. Somewhat similarly, there are a lot of cases where there are a lot of cases where I'm trying to strafe a hitbox, and it's not happening quite right. Even though I've, like, strafed it before, because when I strafed it before, there was just something a little bit persnickety that last time I happened to do correctly. I was too late to get that counter off. Positioning's just a little delicate for a lot of these interactions, and then I do something like that, which is not a case of delicate positioning at all. It's a case of going on autopilot and screwing up. Off while she does her phase transition here. Alright, this is where the fight gets pretty real. And I still have not figured out what to do about a lot of that. This covers that much space. And because that turns her around like that. That's lethal. Because that might have killed me if I didn't happen to be correct about it. And that was absolute happenstance. So that particular attack has been getting me a bit. Just the two downward cuts starting from her right shoulder. Yeah, since I had to wake up from the floor, I wasn't going to get out of the space for that one in time, so I needed to time the dodge better. Yeah. Like, I don't know what kind of mods I could get into. I mean, I know that they have Survivor mode as baseline for the game now, but like, you boot up modded Skyrim and it's never changed enough. Like, I'd have to be playing one of the full transformation mods that puts you like not in Skyrim. I think that would have to be the baseline. That didn't stun her. I guess because she did the delayed attack. I want to try being more flexible about my positioning so I'm not always dodging past her. I think that might help me in the later phases if I'm not so locked into like a set play. That's actually less damage than I was getting out of the Visceral, which is unusual. I think that's based off of the boss's defensive stats. That's really noteworthy. Phase 2. I've used 9 blood vials. No, I didn't start with the full 20 for this fight. I've used a lot. Perfect for that. And then I screwed that one up because I was too early. Consistently getting the correct dodge timing on a long series of delayed attacks is really tough. I also can't really... I'm having a hard time distinguishing her Eido slash from her stab. I think the stab stance has the sword high, like actually above her shoulder. But both of them have the sword kind of straight. I should be able to differentiate those if I'm looking at her clearly. Alright. I'm going to try and see if I can get to that phase, and then we'll see if I can call out those attacks. Assuming I can survive her other stuff, which is plenty deadly. I think the trick of her avoiding her attacks in that phase seems to me to be that I need to be flexible about passing her on either the left or the right, and that's hard. Oh, yeah, that'll kill me. I don't know. I think, like, the Bloodborne soundtrack is pretty gold. Like, it's really good. There might be at least one boss fight that is, like, really discordant or too quiet, but it's not that many, like, action fighter games that give you these nice, melancholy string tunes to jam out to. I appreciate that Bloodborne is pushing, like, the classical. Like, Devil May Cry is all, like, rock stuff when you're at the later bosses. Heck, I think most of the bosses. I think sometimes Dark Souls gets too big on Gregorian chants, and I think Bloodborne has less, like, chanting stuff. Or not like Gregorian chants, but like choral stuff. Oh, that was not a counterable thing. Dang it. Dang it! Right when I think I'm, like, in the right cadence, she slips one of those in there, and it completely throws me off. Back down to 10 blood vials. Yeah, let's just fight. Let's just, like, drag out whatever. I just want to practice hitting you more. That was junk. Like, come on. So I managed to wrap around her and get hit by her swords on the startup of her spinning slash attack. So I was, like, too close and behind her. So as a note, like, the hitboxing for this boss is pretty precise. She hits exactly where her swords are, but her animations are nice and flowery. Oh, whoops. I forgot about the weapon. I didn't do the weapon repairs this entire time. How much damage am I doing per hit? Like 70 now. Okay. I was supposed to repair the weapon before I bought that other stuff. I've been fighting her with a broken weapon for 40 minutes. No wonder I'm not getting the right phase. There's no on-screen indicator of weapon break. Every other Dark Souls shows you on screen when your weapon is broken. All of them. All of them show you when it's broken. Like, Dark Souls 1 shows you when it's damaged and when it's broken. And this game has the Dark Souls 1 weapon degrading mechanic. Why? It's such a bad mechanic. Wailing on. I don't know how long I've been doing lower damage. I drained the durability all the way down to 0. There's no on-screen indicator for weapon breaks. Why? Why? I can sell this. That's one of the items that lets us cast a spell, but we can never cast a spell because we're level 4. I'm going to turn that into a weapon repair. Because that's my repair bill. Alright, so we can go from doing 180 minus 21 to 180 plus 121, which is what our damage is supposed to be. Whee! I'm good at this game, I promise. Oh man. Oh man, oh geez. Okay. We're gonna go farm up some more blood vials real quick. Can I sell some junk to get more blood vials? It looks like I do not have a meaningful amount of stuff to sell unless I liquidate my shards. I don't care. I'm going to liquidate my shards. I am unhappy. I'm not going to sell my chunks because they're ridiculously hard to farm if I actually do need to farm them. That only got me 8 blood vials. That only got me 8 vials. I don't need these or these. These are useless. Those are useless. Those are useless. I don't care. I'll keep the bone marrow ash. That is reasonably good. I'll keep the hand lantern and the monocular, and I'm not selling Madman's knowledge because I'm not a dummy. Okay. So I'm gonna go do more attempts on this boss with a real weapon. It was at the 40-minute mark of the stream that I was doing the farming, and I slapped a pig, and it said like, "Oh, your weapon's nearing a break." I'm like, "Oh, well, it's a good thing I'm farming blood right now. I can just repair it before I do the purchase." I didn't repair it. That means my damage has constantly been degrading while I'm fighting this boss. Because once you get that warning, I believe, is when your damage starts to go down. Oh, that's a bummer. I got the counter shot on her and still went down. Alright, alright. Just need like a moderately clean phase, and we'll be getting her to phase 3 for sure. Alright, I still need to figure out a lot of how to handle her phase 2 behaviors. Okay, don't let that happen to you. It's a good recommendation if you want to fight this boss. I could have dodged the gunshot. I'm just not used to her doing that follow-up. She does it sometimes, but not very often. I mean, usually I don't get hit by the double slash. What is it? It's 11:30 as well. I don't have a lot more time to be doing this. Ugh. I've been thinking I might want to spend some more time in this run just casually doing some Chalice Dungeons, like, for fun, because they're less crazy than this DLC stuff. Okay, I misdodged that. That's my mistake. I need to actually recognize that attack instead of mindlessly jumping in. Now, in terms of mindlessly recognizing that attack, part of my proper set play for this fight is if I am already moving towards her and she does a dodge, whatever attack she starts up after she has done her dodge, I can dodge past her to avoid it. The reason why that didn't work there is because I was not already in motion towards her to continue my loop. I thought I'd figured out by now, Bloodborne's not fun. It's not played for fun. That's absurd. There's no way I play this game for any reason but to suffer. Okay, I'm insulted by the fact that she snuck in a hit there, and that she did 3 gunshots to follow up my would-be healing. Let me heal, you shrew. Okay, now she's in phase 2. Jeez, that was so rude. She did a very random quick stab. I don't know what attack that was the start of. It was like a weapon transformation thing. That attack has been like handing me defeats left, right, and center. It's the one that starts from over her left shoulder, does that big arc with both swords. I think they might, is they're putting dungeons of a sort in Elden Ring. That was called out specifically. Now, it was said that several of the dungeons are related to story. I can't remember if they mentioned that there would be random dungeons. So Chalice Dungeons were interesting. They don't have much of a place in most proper Bloodborne runs, and they kind of pad the runtime of the game proper. Like, if you play the game without going to any of the Chalice Dungeons, it's a bit short. Which is part of why the Old Hunters DLC is huge, compared to like a regular Dark Souls DLC. Well, it's not huge compared to the Dark Souls 2 DLCs, but it has a lot of bosses. We've got like 5 bosses in this DLC. Chalice Dungeons are peculiar because I do find them enjoyable. They hit like some baseline content levels, but their mishmashed design does create some pretty patently unfair rooms. And like even playing BL4 or things like that, there's a big difference in like areas that are designed but challenging, and areas that are random and challenging as a result of that. Because there are areas in the regular game that have more enemies, but are more fair than a corresponding area of a Chalice Dungeon that has fewer guys. And that's really because telegraphing matters. Enemy placement in Chalice Dungeons is very poorly telegraphed. Oh, that's an instant kill combo if you get hit by the second attack, I think. I think that's actually just about positioning. If you get hit by that and you're in the wrong position, you'll take all 3 hits and die. If you get clipped by it, you can live. The other thing that's a bit odd about Chalice Dungeons, actually, the best drops in Bloodborne cannot be found in the main game. You like some of the Carol runes and things like that. You cannot get the best version of certain Carol runes without actually going into Chalice Dungeons. And in terms of weapon upgrades, to get a weapon up to +10, you need to use a Blood Rock. There is only 1 Blood Rock in the base game. Please get off the staircase. Ah, I dodged too early. She's gonna shoot me again. Try and shoot me, well, I'll shoot you first. That particular, the dodge I did there when she goes for that kind of stabbing motion, that's a bit of an inconsistent strafe. If I'm too close to her body as I strafe that, I will get hit by the start of the attack. Oh, dang it. Come on. The lethality of these phase 2 attacks is heartbreaking, man. So, I think I should probably assume that she's doing blood damage, which is a damage type in the game. Yeah, that's a thing. So, let me double check my gear to make sure I have good blood damage protection. And the blood def on this is 50. And physical def is 50, so that's fine. Like, that probably means this entire set is pretty fine. Yeah, we've got equal numbers across all of this. I think I can get a higher one with some of these. Do I have a full version of this surgical set? I think that's based on White Church. Okay, so 110, 100. I'm not really going to beat that combination. Crown of Illusions has a blood defense of 70. Blood defense of 50. Sure. We will wear a crown. And the White Church trousers. Man, we look weird. But hey, that's the character I picked. I wanted to look weird. Try my weird flow. This this might also be a boss fight where we have the potential of living on the margins based on Carol runes, especially in the second phase when we're taking some of those blood slash attacks. It's possible that some of those are barely killing us. If the margin is less than 15% of our health bar, then we can compensate with runes to live. Because right now I'm just running with farming runes. Let's see. So, with my Vim, my Vigor, my Scrappy Attitude, and my Reflexes, I've been able to take this boss as far as, like, probably 25% health and phase 3. I might need to properly study the boss to go any further. Especially because things like that keep happening. I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to push the limits a little and figure out what I can do instead of just, like, doing a looped behavior fight. Blech. I'm also really, really curious to see what a dodge-free fight looks like for this. Okay, well, it doesn't look like that. Yeah, it's immensely dangerous to be in front of this boss. She has some very fast frontal attacks. I had an opportunity to dodge there, but I didn't get the timing right. I was still in hit stun. And I think, as I've mentioned before, the game is really happy to buffer anything that is not a dodge. Couldn't dodge between that? Okay. I'm trying to find opportunities to throw in gun counters and figure out what I can do from them. Some of her attacks have a very delicate gun counter timing. And it's at the point where if I carelessly gun counter on the basis of the timing where I think she's going to do an attack, and she goes into, like, a long delayed attack, I can be just standing there with my gun out, unable to dodge, and get screwed. This first phase, like, certainly this, like, dodging, attacking once a time loop is the best way to deal with her. I do need to properly time quite a lot of dodges. There, I mistimed a dodge and got killed. But it's a very simple, kind of boring way of approaching the fight. And I wish there was a better way for me to deal with this other than just reducing the fight to this. But it really feels like this entire first phase, I should be reducing to this loop behavior of just keep following her, slapping her with single attacks. Because every variation on this I've tried is a lot less consistent. I'm testing a theory by holding the analog stick at the exact same angle for a long time. And yeah, that pretty much did work up until her weapon swap. When she's in this weapon swap form, I need to sometimes go the other way. Sometimes she decides she wants to shoot, so I have to cope with that for a bit. She went for the ending gunshot there. It's bad for my health. Yeah, so for most of that entire first phase, I just held a position on the analog stick. I barely deviated. The dodge timing on that, by my experience, is actually pretty generous. I'm surprised that attack didn't randomly hit me. So we could theoretically just try to bait her jump enough times to finish the phase. And that's theoretically the safest way of doing this. Except for that attack. Which is instantly lethal and covers the entire space. It's instantly lethal, covers the entire space, and she can turn around in a 180 to hit with it. So the only real answer for it, I think, is to dodge it correctly. I really wish there was an audio cue. And I'm not hearing one. I think that's what I'm going to be looking to get out of a guide for this. So I'm going to give it one more fight because it is really late. I've been streaming for 2 hours, which I figured I could barely fit in. You know, that also explains why I did that one attack, and I found that I landed a harder hit with a Visceral, which should never be the case for my character level. It was because my weapon was broken. What you want to do? That's like the one I can most readily avoid. Just move away from that. It does have a splash, and the splash does function on the delay, which is super obnoxious. Yeah. That instantly kills. It covers a huge amount of space. Okay. So I'm going to consider myself walled here for tonight, and I have to do even more blood vial farming next time I sit down, which is super great. I think this is why like the category most people do for Bloodborne seems to be like Bloodborne speedruns or Bloodborne hitless clears. Because you know, you do that run, you do it for like a couple of hours, and then you're done, and then you reset. And every time you reset, you're back at the default like number of blood vials and blood vials that you can find in the world, and you don't have to worry about like decaying in your character. Bleh. All right. Thank you for joining. This has been Jupiter Exile. I hope you have a lovely evening. Um, may we wander again soon. Good night.